Okay, so now we've got our code working with promises, but we can take it one step further. We can clean it up even more if we use async await. So now what I want to do is I want to copy, create report, and I want to create the version that is using promises, and I want to create another one here that we can call async await.javascript. So the thing with promises, they're great, but there's still some callbacks and all those things involved. So what we can do now is using async await, we can take things one step further and we can make our code look almost synchronous in a way. So the thing what we need to do if you want to use async await is we want to take our code that we had in the past, and what we can do now, we can actually write our code like this. So we can say now that weekday results, and then we want to say await here. So that's one call I'm making now. So you can see I can get rid of all this promise stuff here, and then I can actually take this. A weekday results already fixed, so I'm going to say duration result. So I'm doing this, and I'd say const v await equal. Okay, so I just take like that, and then I can take overall result, Control C, and now we're doing like this. We say await. So I can take this away now. I can take the overall result we already have. Then we have this. So now we are doing this. So you see it's much cleaner. Let me just take this semicolon away. So what I'm saying, I can just do it all like this now. So I haven't changed. Everything is still asynchronous behind the scenes, but I'm not using callbacks in my code. So now if I run this, let's just see. So if we say node create report, we want to async await. Okay, await not valid in an async function. So the important thing is now we've got await here. So the thing that we know about async await is that await is when I'm calling the function async. I need to mark this function as being an asynchronous function. So when I'm running this code now, let's see what's happening. Okay, so you see everything is just working now. So it is just working as if everything is cool. So it's even, see the weird thing or the interesting thing is it still thinks async await returns a promise, and in fact whenever I mark a function as async await, it's returning a promise. So I can then do something like this, and I can call create report, and then it actually creates a promise. But what I can do now is I can even take this one step further. So I can call my function that's returning a promise. So I can do something like this, await. But the important thing is when I'm having a wait function, it needs to be in an async function. So I can create a function that I called, say, function that I call report, and then I can call something like this, and now I can do the same thing here. I can say const, and I can say Monday report, and then I can say console.log Monday report, and then for this one I can run const, and this one I can call Thursday report, and then I can do something like that. No, it's not Thursday, it's Saturday report, run await here, we run it like so, and then we can say console.log Saturday report. We're running that, And then what I can do now is I can just run the report function like that. And then we run that, and then I run that, and that's working great now. So looking at this code, you can see this async code is much cleaner initially than our initial create report that was using promises. So it was difficult, call promise, get this thing here. The code flowed in like this, and then I do the work here. And then we had promises. It was better, but still not great. And now with async await, we can just call the code like this, and it all seems that it is all just, it seems like synchronous code, but remember it's not. So you will note that if I take away the await here, that all things will go wrong. So if I run this, run async await, you see now these things cannot property, so now things doesn't work. So it's very important that you put await functions in there so that it's waiting for the promise to be finished and then unpack the results into here. And the important thing is that the await code needs to be written inside of a sync function. And then, so again, if I want to call a function, async function, and I want to await for it, I need to be in an async function myself. Then I can just call the function like this. This way I can trigger code that is calling other async functions. The important thing to bear in mind is that the function that I want to use, async await on, needs to return a promise. If it doesn't return a promise, await won't work. So await is built on top of promises. So a lot of the new Node.js functions and libraries and modules is returning promises, so we can use them with async await. And as you can see, that the Postgres PG module is returning promises, so we can use it to call the database. So it makes it much easier now for us to be able to call the database when we use async await. So hopefully after this series of videos, you've got a little bit of a better understanding of what is async await and why do you want to use it. So for you at this point in time, just bear in mind that Node.js went from this journey from callbacks to promises to async await. So callbacks and promises are still there. You can still use them, and sometimes you will still use them. But going forward, the thing that we're using the most is async await. So when you call an asynchronous method, you use async await to wait for the result and then to unpack it. Sometimes still we want to use promise.all. Other interesting thing to note is that you can use promise.all like in this case, and you can put a await function around it. So we could have changed this code to return us this result, so something like this. So we could have said in this case something like this. We could have said const.result is equal promise await, and then we could have changed this code not to have a promise here, but to actually have done something like this. So now we still have a result that's coming back, which is a list of the result of 3 queries, and ultimately now we want to say here async. So I've changed the create report promises now. So we run that. So looking at this now, it should just work, because async methods, like I said in the past, see, although we're not returning a promise from it anymore, async methods by default returns a promise. So if I do node and I say create report promise.js, you see that's working great as it worked in the past, but the code is much cleaner now. But in this way, this is a very effective way of running 3 queries, because it's not blocking. I'm sending the queries to Node.js to run the queries as it sees fit, not one after the other, but literally asynchronously. And then once it's done, it will come back and it will then give me the results, and then I'll return it back. So that's just to show how you can use promises with async await and how closely related the two things are. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the videos and you've got a much better understanding now of async await, callbacks and promises. and hopefully you can start using them in your apps with more confidence now.